Hello. I am so grateful that you're here. And this masterclass called Fully Paid, the Embodied Identity is what will change your frequency. All right. So if you're new to me, welcome. I'm Yvonne Purvis. I'm a transformation coach, helping women just like yourself, change your identity, embody it, have a frequency that allows sales to come in and you get paid in full with raving fans and a beautiful business that is so aligned with your soul that you are excited to be doing it every day. Does that feel good? Because I know that's what feels good to me as well. And I have been in this industry of coaching pretty much all my life. I'll just give you a little bit about me and then we're going to dive in. Okay. So I started my journey, back many, many years ago. I'm actually 57. Just thought I would share that with you. I started as a dancer, singer, fitness coach, aerobics, traveling the world, doing all that stuff, and then was in a few car accidents, which then gave me some neck issues, which I then had to think, what's next? I was working in a corporate skybox in Toronto, Canada. I'm from Toronto, Canada, but I live in Australia. And I started gathering cards, and I was always good with people. Thankfully for my dad, he was an entrepreneur. And I started gathering these cards, and all of a sudden, someone asked me if I could get a set of Leaf tickets. And if you don't know what that is, it's hockey tickets to in Toronto, Canada. We're talking a long time ago, because the only way he could get them, because he was a broker for a bank and he would take clients, is to go and get them from scalper on the street and only could buy them on the night. And I gave him, he asked if I could get a season's tickets. And I said, yes, I can. So I want you to this story is really powerful. I had no idea how at all. I just said, yes, absolutely. And then I just went and I was talking to my girlfriend and I said, I need to find some seasons tickets. She says, my uncle is a scalper. He can get them. No joke, guys. Okay. I was like, fantastic. I bought the tickets from him. Then I unsold them to my client with a 50% upgrade. Okay. I made $10,000 in one day. That was the life-changing, you talk about a beautiful manifestation, identity shift that I've ever had at that point. Okay. Hadn't really had any of that kind of stuff. And it's only now that we talk about manifesting and identity and embodiment that we actually get it. I was in flow with this. Okay. So obviously I said I wasn't going to work the next day, but I did because I loved what I'm doing. And I thought, who else do I know? Anyway, so then from there, I ended up, and my business was almost 20 years. I was doing events. I went into events, corporate events. I expanded. I had employees, 8, I think were my top. One year, maybe I got to 10. And then we've been through a few things, and I ended up meeting a man in Hawaii, and he lived in Australia. I'm going to short story this one, but this is a powerful one here. Okay. So we start dating back and forth. And we decided to get married. So, which means I'm moving to him because he had kids. And I guess I just went, I can do it because that's how I lived my life. I loved something, I desired it, and I just went for it. The signs were there, not to marry, just to date, but I didn't listen. Anyway, so I moved to Australia, and it was I saw another side to him that I didn't see when we were in the back and forth of dating. And it's all good though. Okay, guys, we had a beautiful 20-year marriage, but there was a lot of lessons for me. So long story short from there is that after 10 years, we had another financial crisis in the world, especially in North America. And I ended up I went and proposed. I sent my partner because I changed my business and worked from online. Yes. And I didn't get the contract renewed. Never thought about what would happen from then because I would find something else. I always would. I wanted to have a restaurant. No, I can't do that. That's the X. I wanted to write my book. I already had a book. And then I was speaking to a guy and we were looking about a movie. And he said, no, you can't do that too. Then I got a job, receptionist job. Nope, you can't do that. So he was starting to change how I was. And this is our identity, okay? And I'm sharing this to show identity. So my identity started changing. I had no family, no friends really in Australia, just him. That's it. And a few neighbors. All right. I was playing golf, but they were all older. It just, I didn't have a connection of women that were in my realm. Okay. And this is where it's really important, because if we are hanging around people that are lowering our frequency, not saying absolutely go for it, or you can't trust yourself to go for it, it is going to be challenging. Okay. So maybe this is what got you to watch this masterclass with me today, because I'm going to go through how this expands, how we feel, how we go into the identity, because we have to change, we have to be a different person, and then how we embody that to actually be it. So slowly by slowly, I was withering away. I wasn't allowed to be me. He was saying things, how to speak, how to act, how to talk to his kids. And I'm just like, now not sure what I'm doing, right? I had no zest for life. I was starting to get depressed. I was filling my days with women that had no judgment here, but they were all married with kids, talking about kids, some of them. And it was really, I wasn't enjoying life at all. I was trying to make myself happy. I was doing Meals on Wheels. I was doing all this charity work, filling space to try to find something. And so, long story, this marriage of 20 years, at the end of the day, we divorced. So grateful. Now, that low point in my life, he was the one that asked me. That low point of me, I was a shell. I had no self-love, no self-worth. No, I had no idea what I was going to do. I hadn't been making my own money in a very long time, because I was sort of just the woman, the wife, and he had kids. So doing that stuff, I tried some network marketing and I could never get past a certain level of the company. I didn't believe in it anyway. And it was just like this struggle. You ever felt that struggle in your life? Never felt like, who am I? What am I doing? I've lost your identity. If you're a mom and you have kids, this is so common. I get a lot of women that come to me because they don't know who they are anymore. They want to do this, but they're not sure, because of our confidence and our self-assurance and our belief in ourselves. And I had to find all that again. I had to pick myself up. I had to get up. I had to put makeup on. I used to tell myself really good things about myself. I was listening to whoever I could. I fell in love with Joe Dispenza. He helped me in this process. And slowly by slowly, okay, 5 years later, I am here. But in the middle of all that, I had to find myself. I had to find an identity, and it didn't happen overnight. So depends where you are. So mine, rock bottom, right? And I had, before I met him, I had a multi-million-dollar business. I had a house. I had a couple of cars. I traveled business class. I had everything that I didn't even know I wanted. I just experienced it. And business money was always there. Everything was always there. Okay. Loved what I did. Loved serving, all of that. And then I got cut off from source energy, which is money. Okay. Service. And had no self-worth. So the first year in that separation, we were in COVID, and I was so grateful. I actually got called. Okay. I had been looking for even a retail job. No one would hire me. I always said, oh, you're overqualified. So here's the lessons in all of this. Okay. This is the powerful, really lesson about how we are always supported by source energy, the universe, or God. I call him God, not God in a spiritual way. God in there is someone that is always protecting us. Okay. And I truly believe this. And I started really implementing and studying this work, where I was before just living in flow, living in that energy and embodiment. So when you're picking yourself up, depending on where you are, we're all different. And I had to slowly, I was very grateful. So where I was going to, I got hired for a retail job. They wanted me as the manager. I just said yes, 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 yes. Got me out of the house, got me back in flow service, getting paid, making some money, right? And this was through the beginning of the separation as we're in now getting with lawyers. And I never forget. So I did that. I was so grateful. I was so burnt out. I mean, I was working long hours. I took all the shifts, and I never took the manager job, but I was working a lot. And it was a 30-minute drive, roughly there and back. Some of you, that's nothing. And that's cool. Okay. So I literally get home, feed my dog, make myself dinner, watch television. I was falling asleep. And this is also because of being in fight and flight. And that's your nervous system. My nervous system was a mess from the separation. It was a mess in the marriage, but I didn't realize it. And then it all of a sudden hit, right? So all this is happening, and I'm listening to Joe in the morning, and I'm running in the morning, and everything just trying to, and I'd be crying when I was working in retail. I'd go to the back to get stock, and I would cry and I would let it out. I was just so a mess, but you have to let the emotion out. Okay, this is the other really tip thing. If you're feeling emotion, if you're feeling something right now, let it out. Can't suppress. We must express. Let it out, whatever it is that you're feeling. So I started letting it out. Let me tell you, I had years of crying, and not just a pretty crier. I run and stop, and I had panic attacks, and I would just cry. That's how unhappy and how he was controlling was in my body. Okay. This is a really, really powerful place for you to understand the embodiment of who you are and the identity, to look at yourself and really look at yourself with eyes wide open. I wasn't looking at myself eyes wide open. I didn't want to see. I saw him having an affair. I knew all this was going on, but I didn't want to look. Just blind eye everything, right? Because I didn't know how to deal with it for starters. I was just like, right? So as we're going through this transition, so this is how, we know when we are down low, I just want you to know there's another side that's going to be beautiful on the other end. Always. It is just part of the laws of the universe. So I picked myself up. I ended up, I quit the job. And I started just like that. Someone reached out to me in COVID when I quit that job. So here's the thing. The job came to me to help me move through that first year, 9 months. I think I stayed in there. And then I gave them notice for Christmas. I was like, okay, I'm done. This is not for me. And I started to then think, what would I do? And somebody reached out to me. They wanted my arms. So I started doing some personal training. She wanted online. And I thought about it, and I went, no, I'm going to have personal training. I'll go back into personal training. So they came into my house, right? And I was personal training. And then someone reached out to me I was on LinkedIn. Somebody reached out to me. It was a very high industry fitness guy, reached out to me and said, hey, I see you're a fitness trainer. Would you like to get your business online? Sure. Booked a call, got on the call, told me how much. It was like 12,000 US. I was like, oh my God, yes. And I said, let me get back to you. So he made another call. And back then, too, it was a very different way of selling than it is now. Anyway, I got back in and I went, I'm going to find the money. And I had some from money that he had given me. And I thought, I'm doing this. But I had to do it in payments because my Visa card only took so much. So I said, put this through, and the next day I'll put the rest. And I went online. And I got my first client as soon as I said I was doing it, immediately. And then I got another one. And then I got another one. And I had paid back that course. And he gave me all the resources to get me started. And then, of course, I started personalizing everything. I started to embody. I changed my identity from working, the identity of working in retail. That was never part of who I was. Okay. That was just helping me to get confidence, to start to feel self-love, to get dressed up every day, put makeup on, and feel like a woman. Okay? That was the shift from rock bottom to getting something to make me feel good, have to put makeup on, get dressed, put clothes on, and go and serve. Right? And I was very good. It was for men. I loved it. I was the highest salesperson working, loved it. That wasn't my identity. And that's when I knew I had to quit that job because I was not this person. I've always had my own business, and I knew that's what I have to do, even though it scared me, because what was happening now, I didn't have any money coming in, right? I got cut off in my divorce. So I had to be bringing in money. All right. Anyway, so then you see that how I all of a sudden started being an online coach. It just started flowing in. Money started flowing in, and I was still going through a divorce and all that other stuff. And here's what happened from there. So my identity came back as being an entrepreneur. That, yes, I am smart. I am confident. I could help these women. I knew it. I had started to feel self-worth, right? Purpose. I had a purpose now again. I don't know if I was loving myself yet, but I had a purpose and I was feeling better about myself. And then COVID came and I was out of there. We were selling the house. I had to be out of there. And I was moving interstate because I didn't want to see him again. I wanted to shift my life completely, change everything. And then I moved. And in that process, there were multiple identity shifts. Now, here's the thing. I am very good at helping you get into a new identity. I do it often and easily. The embodiment of that, depending on how much of an identity you want to upgrade, is the wobble. Okay? But the identity can be very easy. So I'm going to go through identity, even though you're in the frequency and you've gone through some of that, or maybe you haven't yet. The identity is how we start with identities. I want you to look in the mirror and to be really raw and open. Who are you? What do you do? How do you show up? What kind of clothes do you wear? Do you put makeup on? Do you feel good in your body? Because all of this is part of our identity. And if there is a part of you that you don't like about yourself, you need to love that part about yourself. You can't embody if you're not really feeling the love. We have to love ourselves 100%. Everything starts with love. So when I think back to my marriage and going through the divorce, and then when I did get divorced, that's where even more hits you, okay? It's where you start thinking back and you're still getting through it. Someone said to me, because we were together for 20 years, I remember someone I knew said, oh, it's going to take you, I think she said something silly like 10 years to get over. I was like, no way. I started to do that work, okay? And that work is the inside job. That work was me, not just forgiving him, because I easily forgave him. He had his own issues and it was easy to forgive him. It was not easy for me to forgive myself for staying. How did I stay? How did I allow him to say those things? How did I let his children treat me like that? All of that. So this subconscious was playing over and over and over. So this is where your identity now is going to be spinning. It's going to keep you in your old identity. It's going to, if you try to be different, it's going to say, oh no, that makes you uncomfortable. That's scary. Don't do that. Right? We've been there. We all understand this. And it's really part of the identity shift. So some of us can, we can change an identity and a belief in an instant, more of a belief. So think about this. All right. So there was a belief that a lot of products I heard that skincare, body care, makeup, all this stuff was being formulated by a product called tallow. Okay. Tallow was basically dead cows, dead animals. If they weren't dead, they'd kill them. They put them in this thing, hot water, and they melt it and they grab all the fat on the top, and that's called tallow, and they put it in all these products. I never used anything. I couldn't use so many things. I threw out body washes because it was sticky and cheap. That's what they used as a filler. My belief in an instant was changed from that experience. So we can change our belief in something. So I want you to think about, what is one thing you've heard that you were able to change your belief? Right? Like, here's another belief. For me, okay, this is my belief. When I have cheese, I get very congested, right? My nose, I do. So I know that even though I love cheese, I still have it. Now, is that a belief or is that science backed? There is some science behind that. Okay. But I could choose to not have that belief. I could choose to just say, oh, it's just my sinuses. So I want you to really get to know yourself for this identity upgrade. Because when we get super clear with our identity, we're holding that frequency, right? That's a frequency. I am her, you're her. You might go in and out, but you're up there. You're in a different, and the frequency, okay, is an embodiment of an energy. It is a certain energy, a certainty and a knowing who you are, and it vibrates like a magnet. That's how people DM me, coming into my funnels, just swarming the energy into them. Okay. But it's my belief, it's my identity, and I've embodied it. Okay. So your belief is the starting point. It's like your self-concept. Your self-concept is like who you are right now. And then we're going to go into a new belief of who we are. And then we're going to express it in a new identity. And the identity is the new version of you. So when you think, I went from rock bottom, no love, no self-love, no confidence. I mean, I didn't put makeup on. I was wearing the same clothes. I only left the house to get groceries. Like, seriously. So I went full steam ahead, didn't I? I went from one self, not sure who I was at all. Then I went into retail, started to feel good again, putting clothes on, putting makeup on, getting out, speaking to people, right? Scary, yes, but not really. I think anyone can do that, right? Then I think the next thing was, for me, paying someone to get online. No, it wasn't really scary to me. Nope, didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, let me know. I want to know more. I had a desire. I had that desire, that burning desire. Yes, I'm doing this. Got the money, did the thing. The next identity was moving and creating a whole new life. Leaving that person who I was over there. So I changed my whole environment. Now, you're probably not going to do all that, but I'm sharing this with you to see that I had to move the energy and change who I was. I started letting go of clothes. I had all these clothes from being with him. I remember putting everything in the floor, and I bawled because clothes have energy. Jewelry has energy. Everything is energy. So things that you're hanging on to might not be things that you want to hang on to anymore to change your identity. Okay, is this making sense now? I bet it is, right? You're going, oh, I don't want you holding on to something if it feels, or you feel different when you put it on and you don't want to be that person anymore. Okay, and clothes are very, very important. I got rid of so much. I didn't get rid of everything. We were in COVID. I didn't know what I was going to buy. I didn't do everything. I did eventually almost get rid of almost everything, but we start slowly sometimes. Okay. So I started getting rid of all these clothes, taking them to charity, boots to charity, giving things to friends. And then I gave them to everyone, whoever was around. Here's a bag, take them. Okay. And that identity then, when I moved interstate, was a whole new person. I went traveling here. I am road tripping on my own. That was scary. It was really scary driving on my own, not having someone else, like directions, and like there were so many things. I mean, I wasn't scared like, for my life or anything, but it was scary, right? It was uncomfortable. Although I remember driving at one stage, looking over at my dog and thinking, wow, this is so exciting. New beginnings, new beginnings. Mind you, I was probably convincing myself now, wasn't I? Brainwashing myself. This is what we're doing, ladies. Okay. This is how we move to a new identity, to embodying it. You can't embody it if you don't believe in yourself of who you are. 100%. You can't fake it. You're not going to be at the vibration that people are going to be attracted to you in your business, in your life, whatever you want and desire. The sales, the clients, the money, the frequency, all of this is part of this training. Okay. So really do this work. So we change identity. You might change your hair color. You might change your cut. I started to let my hair grow longer. Now I love my long hair. I started wearing different clothes. I changed perfumes. I listened to new music. All these little things that started to feel that were uncomfortable started to be more comfortable. And then I changed again because I went and moved again. I went and bought a house all through COVID. So this stuff was I think even in COVID, doing all this stuff was probably, well, I have nothing to compare it to now, do I? That's all I knew. So I had to just go renting homes through, Facebook, girlfriend showing you through. I mean, it was a challenging time. So I feel that sometimes I was really up against it, but I was meant to be there. Always know there's no coincidence. There's no just, that just sort of happened. Everything we go through is meant for us at that time. I was literally being pushed into the identity that I was supposed to be at because I took a left turn versus a right turn in my life. You understand that? So the universe gave me signs. Date them, don't marry them. I chose not to listen. So I was supposed to go, okay, this is fun, but I'm going to go left now. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. But I went right and married. But I love the country. I'm so grateful that I live here. But my life changed dramatically. And I went through a very long period of a part of my life trying to figure it out and thinking it would work until it was a mess, right? But here's the great thing about your identity. It'll change even in the mess. And what I learned from all of that is that life is messy. And it's okay being messy. You can still make sales on messy. You can still make sales being sad. You can still make sales going to the toilet, running every day, right? Like it is a choice and a belief of how you want to live your life. How do you want to live your life? Who do you want to be? We get to make that choice. Who's going to be in your life? How do you want your husband to treat you? This is all the same. It's about the identity and believing it and seeing it. So when you start the last identity, okay, so here I am now again. So I buy my house and I'm letting go of the past still in there for a couple of years. And all of a sudden, I just don't feel I knew it within me. I'm not meant to be here. So identity will give you signs when you are done with that identity. When you want more, here's what can happen. Friends leave you. Arguments happen. Your world feels uncomfortable. You're seeing a side of your life that is just out of control. And you don't know when the end's going. Maybe you'll go through a divorce. Maybe your husband's going to have an affair. It is the crumble of that identity. And when we are upgrading our identity, you have I don't want to say it's always going to happen, but it normally does. You're going to see the opposite first of the identity. Okay. This is exciting. It is exciting. All right. And then from there, so when I'm in my house and I'm knowing I still had kept my old name, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I am not her. So I changed. My business I wasn't enjoying the other business. My clients weren't coming in. I was doing summits, not getting any sales. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Okay. Because we always think something wrong with us, right? But it was deep down, I wasn't enjoying what I was doing anymore. So it was coming out in my energy, right? So our energy is either attracting or it's repelling people to leave. But even when we go into a new vibration and we want more from life, they're going to do the same. They're going to project at you or they're going to leave you. There's going to be a lot of stuff going around. It's going to get messy. And so what happened was I changed my name. I knew I couldn't stay in that house anymore. It wasn't me. It was meant for me to heal. So I sold my house and I moved here. When I found this house, this was like more than I wanted to spend. But it was my identity that I was calling in. It was like, yes. And I changed my business. I detoured and started what I'm doing now, which is like my passion. I wake up excited to be here. I wake up so excited to change lives. And it was just like this instant magnification almost when I got clear on who I was, when I started to embody it and know it. That's why you're here, right? There was an energy. You saw something, I offered something, you came in, and now you've purchased this to find out, okay, what's next, right? And so the embodiment, so when we go back to our identity, you've got to act different. Every time I was doing things different, right? I kept getting into coaches. So I was paying in full. I was always a pay in full woman though. I knew so I had something to look back to. I always kept thinking, okay, what did Yvonne Purvis do when I was 20? I made $1 million at the age of 28. My accountant was like, Yvonne, you have a really good business here. I was like, oh, really? Like, I'm serious. I was never attached to the money, but I had the money to do whatever I wanted. And you do too. We have to let go of all the stuff that is what is around you at the moment. The limited belief in yourself, the identity, the belief in yourself. And you have to embody the other woman. She's another woman. She's not where you are right now. Okay. So the identity, now you're seeing how all of this is sort of shifted for me. And I think it's important for you to understand, so you know what I've been through, to be able to help you do the same. I started showing up differently. I acted differently. I paid in full for another course. Here's a really good one that was different. So in that course, the coach went through some stuff, so gave us more months. It was learning how to build my email list. It was exhausting. I was getting burnt out. That was the first signs. I didn't even know. It was just exhausting every weekend. I was so tired. I had to catch up on sleep. And she wanted to continue. And I said, no, thank you. I'm done. That is an identity to say, thank you so much. I've had enough. I don't need to continue with you anymore. And I didn't. She kept trying to get me back. I said, no, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Move on, move on, move on. And then I found another coach. I don't even know who that was. Oh, yes, I do. Right. I've always had a mentor in my life, because mentors help you see what you can't see, and they help you get there faster. But I didn't have a mentor during that divorce of all those identities. Majority of them. I was doing that on my own. The mentors that I've had have always been in business. But now that I understand it, and probably because I knew this work a little bit more, and I didn't have a choice to change who I was. Like it was just like I had to keep moving. I had to find a passion. I had to find an income. I was just me. So this is where the change is for. Why do you want to change? Got to have a powerful why as well to want to make a change. And that identity will help you in your business, in your whole life. And the embodiment is like the money coming in with ease and flow, whatever that is for you. If you want 10,000 a month, you want 20,000 a month. It is a frequency and an energy, but you have to embody her of a woman who is making 30,000 a month or 10,000 a month or 100,000 a month. And here's the thing with money, the universe, God, there is no difference to it. It's your value and what you think of it is why you can't see it. You feel it's too much. You feel it's so far away from you, but it's all within us. It is all within us. And it's just seeing and being more open to knowing that this world is limitless. It's not limited. It's not just for some. It's meant for all. All of us can tap into this. So I want you tapping into this and understanding that you can have anything you want, what you got to desire, and it comes from a place of service in our life, right? We have to help, and it's an exchange that you give value, and people then pay you for what you help them with. You might be a fitness coach. You might be having a business, interior designer. You might be a real estate agent. It really has a consultant for a network marketing business. There's no, it doesn't matter what you do. We're all in this area, right? We're in a service area. So how are you feeling with this embodiment? I'm looking because my battery's looking low and I don't know where my cord is. So how are you feeling with the embodiment of who you are? What do you need to do next? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Where are you now? Find the identity, go journal, go do the work, write down who you are right now. And what would you do different? How would you show up different? Maybe it's time to get rid of some of those clothes. Maybe it's time to get rid of some of that jewelry. And no, there's plenty. Maybe it's changing your business. Maybe it's changing how you're doing your business. Find the way that works for you. There's no rules here. No rules. You get to decide. And then you want to be her. So the embodiment is saying, okay, if I'm making $10,000 a month, what would you do differently? How would you look at things in life? How would you be? Would you wake up really light and fresh? Would you be excited because you got the money in the bank and it's coming in? You got great clients. Life is just so fun. And of course, life is like this. It's always going to be, it's a rhythm, right? Good times, bad times, business is like this. Good times, and then it's sometimes down, and we're resorting, redoing. That is life. Don't get yourself thinking it's just popsicles and roses and everything, because that is not life. But it sure is good when you are the one creating it. And you know how, when things are happening, it's like, oh, that's okay. Yep, I'll just go around, or I'll do something over here, and you get around things really with ease and flow. And that's what makes life easy. That's the effortless way. When your business is just like, it's beautiful, you love it, you're showing up, you're getting those sales, you've created that energy that keeps the momentum. So you probably will be starting to make money every day. And that's called an overflow, right? There's an overflow because you can have it. You have to believe it. You have to believe it and change the way you look at it and feel about it and feel plenty, feel love, gratitude for everything you have right now. Take a breath. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is like a really powerful, go back and watch pieces, think about your life, think about the things I've done. And one of the biggest steps that got me into where I am right now was the millionaire identity, doing that work, starting way back. Who am I? Who was I? How to get up into that identity is really, really important. because people that have money, they do things differently. So remember, I took that course that got me out to have my own business, not even thinking twice. It was 12,000 US dollars too, right? That it is the currency in online businesses. I just did it. Didn't think about, because I knew I was going to be a successful coach. I had the certainty, of course, I'm going to do this. I just had to, okay, I had to look at my finances and just take a breath and do the math. And I did it. And then I did it again. And then I did it again. And then my last mentor, okay, she was a 6-figure investment. So I got back into a different high frequency that is my normal now. It's a normal way of moving money. Okay. But we have to start where we are. Maybe it's $1,000. Like, ooh, you got to do it, because that is the move. Okay. That is not if you're going to go bankrupt, of course. This is all knowing you've got the money and you trust and you know it's going to get you closer to being the woman you want to be. But also know that the more you do that, it's coming back doubled or tripled. So that last move got me like, okay, I am here. We're never here, but I was back in my full soul, in my body embodiment. And it was like, oh, just felt so fun and so easy. And it was like, wow, what a big, like that's taken 5 years, ladies, right? That identity, all those little shifts, boom, 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 boom. And when you start making space and you start being that person and you embody it, the universe in behind is going, and it's lining everything up for you. The clients, the money, everything, even the ideas, all of it. I'm so grateful for you being here. If this has helped you, I am so excited. If you want to know more, obviously, I've got a few ways you can work with me in a different few ways. I would love to help you. I'm here for you. Send me an email. Make sure you're in our Facebook group. And I want to know how you go with this. This work, oh my gosh, it lights me up. Do this. It's going to change your life. Identity to embodiment. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful day.